This week we try some beers we've never tried before. This is episode 105 of the Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's bees. This the Molten Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Molten Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
And it's the dynamic duo this week. What's going on, Brandon?
Not much, man. How's your week been treating you so far?
So far, so good. Random shitty weather, but other than that, it's been a pretty solid week. We had a very fun by the time this comes out, it's almost about a week ago, It was a week ago. We had a fun Friday, something that we're still kind of cooking up with the brewery. If you follow us on social media, you know what we're talking about. Don't have too much information, but I think we can say safely that we have brewed a beer with Howard Street Brewing, and we're super stoked about it.
Part of me, I almost wanted to email Chuck and be like, "Hey, just how's it going? Like, where are we at with this?" But then the other part of me was like, "Oh no, what if he's not telling us anything because something went wrong?" Like,
everything went to shit.
Toby accidentally dumped it.
Toby accidentally kegged the wrong beer. Oh no.
That We Heavy was pretty good.
But that was so much fun. We're super excited about it. We did a pale ale. There is no name for it yet, but me, Clark, and Brandon got the chance to go to Howard Street a couple Fridays ago. And man, that was just a lot of fun. Big thanks to Chuck and Toby from Howard Street for inviting us to collab with them on this beer. Brandon, you actually came up with basically a recipe for this that we decided to just say, hey, this is what we came up with. Now make a recipe with it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, and I think I originally started doing I think I built it out in Beersmith, kind of going towards the IBUs that we wanted and like the color profile. And the big thing was like the bitterness is what we wanted to kind of dial in, and obviously the ABV. Like we didn't want it to be over 5% by much. I didn't look. I'd have to check the Chuck's original recipe again to see if it was over 5.
I think it's just over 5.
And I know Toby had said that during the brewing process we hit some higher numbers.
Yes.
I don't know what the final gravity was, the post boil gravity. I don't think we stuck around because he was like, "I got this. Like, I'll handle it."
Yeah, I don't think we got the actual original gravity, but I'm gonna email Chuck and follow up with him and see where we're at.
Yeah, because he had said to us, he was like, I was talking to Toby. He's like, "Yeah, if you guys want to sit around and watch me do the cell count and this and that," and I was like, "No." I mean, it's interesting.
I mean, yes, but
I was like, yes, but also like it's been a kind of a long day.
Well, it was mainly a long day because it was actually a 4-hour brew day, which was short for Toby because we actually helped him. He actually had someone being able to help him, except for having to have Chuck jump in every now and then. Me, you, and Clark were able to.
That's even shorter than some of my homebrew days too, man.
No, for sure. I mean, and it was fun. But the other thing was that my intention was not to really drink any beers while we were there until maybe we were done. But right as we started mashing, we were offered a beer, and we started drinking some beers over there. So it was nice.
It's hard to turn down free beer.
Yeah. And then we got a chance to, pour ourselves some beer and just hang out in the actual brewery and bar itself. It was a lot of fun, man. Looking forward to that. We'll have more information on that beer. It will be a tap room only release when it comes out. I'm not going to throw any dates out until we know for sure. I do know that the aim for right now is mid-March. So once we have that information, obviously we're going to blow it up all over the place, and anybody who's in the Chicagoland area, or if you feel like flying in from another city and state or country to come and try a beer we brewed,
please
now's
do.
your chance.
I did mention it to, I saw Pat McHugh on this past Monday, and Liz Lux, some friends of ours, and mentioned it to them, and they are definitely interested in wanting to come to the event. So.
Yeah, I've got some friends who don't really care about beer who want to come to the event, so it'll be fun.
It was. I was gonna say it was kind of funny when I was talking to Pat. I brought it up to him. I started to tell him, and he's like, and typical Pat goes, "Oh yeah, I was listening to the episode, and you guys mentioned something about brewing a beer somewhere," and I was like, I just love that. Like it's literally Monday at like 4:00, and he's already listened to the entire episode, and he was like, he got the reference. He knew what I was talking about. I was like, oh, awesome, great.
We do have some devoted listeners who listen as soon as it come out, as the episode comes out, which I always feel bad about when there are the few times that I do miss that Sunday night, Monday morning post, because I'm a procrastinator and sometimes I put episodes off for editing, and it's the Super Bowl, and I come home and play the drums and forget to edit an episode and post it that Monday morning or the Monday afternoon. But yeah, I'm super stoked, and that's cool to hear that he already knew. But that's not what this episode's about, Brandon. You and I, to be completely transparent with everybody, Brandon, we have episodes planned for the future. We just forgot about filling in days as far as episodes in between. So last week was Empty the Fridge, and now Brandon and I have come up with this cool idea. we had one idea. Yeah. Well, we had one idea in mind. It didn't work out. I just ended up going to the Beer in the Wild in Park Ridge, and I put together a mixed 3-pack for us. And they are all local beers again, so that's kind of cool. But these are beers we've never had before, so that's kind of exciting. So it's beers that are new to you and me. Yep. You being Brandon, me being me. But if Brandon's saying it, it's you being me and me being Brandon. Everybody get that? Because we don't know if you've had these beers or not.
I'm confused.
That's okay. All right, let's get into the first beer here. What are we drinking?
You went and chose. So one of the beers that you chose was Phase 3 Brewing Company's Comic Cake. It's a West Coast style India Pale Ale, and that's all the can says.
And that's all the description says when I went onto their site and Untapped. Some of the other beers are like very much heavily detailed.
I feel like a lot of their adjuncts are like their stouts that have stuff like that. That's where we get a lot of the detail.
That's true. I almost got their strawberry milkshake chantilly for us, but I also thought that would be a bit much for a random night where we're not together with other people and just me and you and us trying to down 16-ounce cans of that. I mean, their chantillies are fantastic. They're basically milkshake IPAs, but that would have been much. So I came across this, and I like the design of the label. They put a lot of hops on their labels. And this one has like some pastel colors or almost like 80s pink and blue, and then like a beige. And I just like the design, and then I noticed West Coast style IPA. So I was excited about that and figured let's start there. Brandon, what are your first impressions?
I was going to say the can. I don't know if you said it. The can's giving me an Easter vibe.
I did say pastels, and that is very Easter-like. So
I mean, but the pinks and blues, I associate. I mean, I guess those pastel pinks and blues I associate. So I went in, I think, first. I don't know if you smelt it right after you poured it.
I did not. I waited.
Yeah, I did not. Definitely getting that West Coast like hop punch. I don't know what the hops that they're using in this, but I'm getting a good kick of hop, and that kind of like maltiness on the back end, which I really enjoy. Because I think when I'm going to drink an IPA, I mean, I love IPAs, but I feel like as I get older, I need to be in the mood for a specific beer, because like if I go and drink, there's been nights where I'm like, oh man, I just really want something to drink. It's been a rough day. Let's go get a stout. And I'll get like halfway through it and I'm like, this just isn't hitting what I'm looking for. And then I'll switch to like an IPA and I'm like, boom, IPA. And then there's some days where I'm like, I'll sip on an IPA and I'll be like, it's fucking bitter. Like, I don't want that right now. By no means that I don't like it, but it's just like literally in the moment type preferences. But West Coast, I feel like I can get down with pretty much anytime. I can't drink a ton of them. Like this is going to be enough for me. And I'm glad we're not doing an IPA episode because I think I would be burnt out. And I think like
For sure.
just talking about beers kind of kills it. But I definitely love it. One thing I noticed though, it feels thin.
Like mouthfeel wise?
Yeah, like I'm expecting like a maltier bite to this that I'm not getting, and that may be more true to the West Coast styles. It's been a while since I've had like an actual beer from the West Coast, but it's just something that I'm like, I want to say chewiness. There's like that biscuity maltiness that um, is present but overpowered by the hops. Like you taste the hops more than you do that maltiness, but you feel it in your mouth, and I'm not feeling it, and I don't know why.
I'm kind of there with you, and I just looked up to see a what's a description of a West Coast IPA, and this is actually from Firestone Walker. It says a
Ooh.
West Coast IPAs are traditionally known for their bold hop aroma, high bitterness, citrus, and piney notes. They're typically brewed with higher amounts of hops in the boil kettle, which lead to high bitterness and a mid palate flavor, hop flavor. I associate a maltiness, a slight maltiness or sweetness to West Coast IPAs. Not like sweet, but a nice balance of citrus, bitter, piney, and malt. My first impression of this beer, when I took a whiff of it, I get, and I don't know, like I feel like I've kind of been dealing with being a little sick this week, so let's just take my reviews of these beers this week with a grain of salt. The aroma reminds me of Flame Out from a brew day with hops and the wort. It smells like
Yep.
freshly brewed beer to me. That's what I'm getting from this. And it is actually, I was kind of taken aback by it because I don't think of that for a West Coast IPA. I think of piney, citrus, almost like herbal or floral aroma, and I didn't get that. It's not bad. I do like this aroma. It just kind of caught me off guard. Then I took a sip, and my first sip was, this tastes like a homebrewed IPA that is not sweet. There's like a cerealness to it, and it's not a negative thing, and it's not an insult to this beer. But I'm getting like a lot of like cereal graininess to it, some citrus, a little bit of pine, a little bit of sweetness. I'm going to take another sip.
It's very light on the sweetness, though.
Yeah. And maybe when I say sweetness, I think I'm just associating that with like a bready cereal characteristic. It is not like any West Coast IPA I can think of. I don't know how I feel about this beer. It's not bad, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, I'm having.
And it's also got a little haze to it.
Yeah, I'm having. That was kind of my struggle with this, was trying to find out like where the West Coast is in this, because it's not reminiscent of anything I said. But when you gave that descriptor of like the Flame Out, I'm like, that's what that is. And I went back for another scent and a whiff of the aroma, and yeah, totally, like, and it doesn't go away. It's still there. Like,
yeah. If you guys have ever been inside of a brew pub or brewery, and there's like this strong like cereal ready. Yeah, exactly. That too. I was just, for those who aren't home brewers, or you've gone to a brewery or a brew pub, there's like a cereal bready sweetness in the air with a little bit of bitterness. Sometimes people, I don't know how this comes to be, but say that hops smell like SpaghettiOs. Sometimes it's so weird. I think they just relate to like pasta. I won't say who I've heard that from, my wife. But there's like this, don't use the SpaghettiO reference. But I think it's like, just because there's like this bready graininess in the air, some sweetness, and then like this piney citrus hop aroma in the air, but it's all very fresh. This doesn't come off as a finished beer to me. Maybe that's what I'm trying to go with.
Yeah, I don't know what it needs more of. I mean, to me personally, I would like to see more body. I'd like it to be a little more maltier, and when I say maltier, have some of that malty sweetness. Because there's nothing counteracting with the hops. I don't feel it's slightly sweet, but I feel like the majority of the flavor profile is just coming from these hops, you know?
Yeah. And then there's this like graininess to it, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like a test batch of beer that, and no offense, Phase 3, because I do really like your beers, but we're being honest, as always, on the show. It just feels like a test beer that is okay and that maybe would be on tap for the brewers during a brew day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's not something like we're putting out for everybody to try. It's like, this is just our beer.
It immediately made me think of when we went to Goose Island and they were talking about that, how they have like the test beers on and they'll keg them and like let people just drink them throughout their shift.
Yeah, that's what this kind of comes across as. Excuse me, it's making me burp. That's for sure. It's weird. I don't know what else to say about this beer. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't consider it a West Coast IPA, from what I have in my mind as West Coast IPAs. It's just kind of a weird beer, man.
I feel like if this was labeled as like a hoppy pale ale.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, just because of the body, how light the profile is. You're getting a little bit of that cerealness, that biscuitiness, but like I'm not getting that thickness that like I expect in like a a West Coast IPA.
Yeah, like you said, like it's lacking body and mouthfeel.
And it's hopped
It
very
is very
well.
thin. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to know what hops they used. I mean, again, if I brewed this on my setup, I'd be like, ooh, it's a kind of a young beer. So, and I don't know how long this beer's been out. I will say this: there are no ratings as of this recording on Untappd. So this may have come out today. I take that back. Actually, there are some 23 minutes ago. Someone did start checking in. There's 168 check-ins as of right now of this recording. And it's 6.25% ABV, which that's right in the IPA range, as far as ABV, and that I don't get. So that's good. It doesn't come off as a 6.25% ABV beer. But yeah, I just kind of bummed because I was really excited about seeing a West Coast IPA. And I thought that would be a great way to start this because we have two other very random beers we're going to drink during this. I feel like this is something that, again, if I brewed this on my setup and I had it on tap and I said, oh, this is like a young beer, but I think if I was at a party and if I had a party at my house and you guys were all over and you guys were drinking it, you guys would be like, yeah, this is good. It's good enough. It's free beer at somebody's house. Would I go out and buy this again? Probably not.
It would go down super easy. And I think at a party, yeah, like you said, free beer.
Yeah.
And what?
And sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's not drinking like. I mean, although I feel like I'm almost done with this, but like because it drinks really easy because it doesn't have that body. So I'm like, oh, you can just sip on it. I was going to say it doesn't drink like a 6% beer, 6.25, whatever it is. And then I'm like, I stopped for a second. I'm like, I'm starting to feel something. Like I ate light today.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I did not. I did not eat light.
This.
Yeah. I keep going back to it because I keep searching for other like maybe nuances in the flavors, and like I do like the hops in this. Like I do like what we're getting in the hops, but that like fresh wort graininess is just kind of like it's kind of off-putting.
I got a lot of floaters too.
Did you guys keg this before it was done? Phase 3? Come on. I don't know. I'd like to talk to them about this beer just to see what their method was and what they used to do it and what yeast they used and all that other good stuff.
Totally a ton of floaters at the bottom.
I do not. Oh, no, yeah. I do have that. I have some weird like sediment like spiraling up now. Like it's from fucking The Thing.
You know what's so weird though? Like when I put it to the light, it almost shimmers and I was like, is there glitter in this beer?
That's West Coast Glitter IPA.
That's it's not Cosmic Cake, it's Comic Cake.
Damn it.
But remember when we had the glitter beer I brought back from South Carolina, wherever I went?
I do.
And it took us all a long time to find the glitter, but I feel like that's kind of the position that I'm in. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, there's the glitter. But there's a lot more sediment in there than I would have ever expected. So
Yeah, very interesting. And actually, as you guys know, when you drink, especially if you drink IPAs and you kind of burp, I feel like, by the way, I have this like large burp waiting to come out. I'm trying to get it out in between when I'm talking and you're talking. Um, I'm getting a lot of like strong hop flavor, which is good. Like I like that. I feel like that's a sign also of a good IPA, especially a West Coast one. Like when I kind of do a little bit of a belch and it comes up and it's all like hop aroma and flavor. Like that's, to me, that's really, that's kind of tasty for burp. Gross. But yeah, Brandon, out of let's see, what are we gonna rate this on? We're gonna rate this on mash tons.
Okay.
Because it reminds me of homebrew. How many out of 5? How many mash tons are you giving this beer?
Is it an igloo mash tun?
Igloo mash tun for sure, homemade.
I'm going 3.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think we've made our point very clear on this beer. Not a bad beer, just I don't know. Feels unfinished. Feels like it's not done.
Yeah, and so like, and then seeing all of the like the sediment in there, like that's what's like, you know, because we've got a couple more beers to drink. I'm like, that's what's gonna make me gassy and like feeling bloated.
Yes.
So,
man, when we're done with these episodes, especially during the week, like the next day at work, I tell everybody, stay away from me. I recorded a podcast last night. Like, don't come in my area. Nobody sneak up behind me. You don't know what you're gonna walk into. So
yeah,
they're all very familiar with what happens after I record. What do you think? Should we? I'm not. I have a very little bit left of this. I think I'm just gonna.
I'm putting it to the side.
Putting it to the side as well. Do we want to? I know we're not fully at the half-hour break. Should we jump into the next beer and then take a break after that? Because we can probably sip on the last beer for a little bit
Sure.
and talk about it. All right, we got our next beer here. Brandon, do you want me to read this one, or do you want me to? Or you want to read this one?
Go ahead.
This is from our friends at Alarmist. I've never seen this one before. It is the Bamberger style Rausch beer, which is, man, I'm going to try and read this. Here we go. Rausch beer is a classic smoked lager style made famous in the town of Bamberg, Germany. All right, am I pronouncing that right? Bamberg?
Sounds right to
Sure.
me.
Our versions has rich Munich, applewood, and beechwood smoked and dark wheat malts to create a smooth, rich, and incredibly drinkable lager. Brandon, you already opened yours up. What are you getting from the aroma and the what it looks like?
Smoky, in a good way.
I rushed that question. I felt the burp coming as I was reading it, and I let it out, and boy, I feel so much better.
Yeah, so definitely some smokiness in the aroma. I don't know what like the beechwood and like whatever that stuff smells like, but
Applewood.
yeah, but definitely that smokiness is coming through. It's like a smoky sweet. I haven't sipped it yet.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
I just cracked mine open. It's nice and smoky. In my brain, when I hear applewood, I go bacon. This is like the smoke on a bacon.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't smell like bacon, but it smells like smoke that can come off bacon. Oh man, that smells so good. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's tasty.
Man, you know, I've had some bad smoked beers in my life, but local smoked beers, I've not had bad one. I've not had bad one. This is, oh, by the way, do you see my cool mug? Do you see what it, I should black my mic. Do you see what that says?
Nope.
It's a dry hop mug that I got for working Friday Night Flights.
Oh, nice.
Joe gave this to us.
Nice.
Friend Joe from Dry Hop and Crushed by Giants and Quarter. So I figured this would be great for him.
Oh, well.
Sorry, man. This is, what do you think about this one, Brandon?
I enjoy it. And again, and I think it's because in the past, like as you said, there's been smoked beers that I've had that have just been like god awful. And it literally tastes like they're just putting like liquid smoke in there or something else. And
not in an off-putting way, because like,
no, I'm not saying
I've put in too much. Oh, sorry.
I'm not saying this one tastes like they put liquid smoke.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
no, I'm saying I've had ones that taste like it's literally just chocked full of liquid smoke, and it's so off-putting. This one, I feel like you're getting this in knowing Alarmist. I feel like they wouldn't cheat and they would use like the traditional styles of malts.
Absolutely.
And like I was looking up the style, and it is a common style, and like the number one thing on there is Beechwood's smoked Vienna type malt, and that has to be what's giving it that smokiness. Man, that's fucking good. Like, the idea of a smoked beer in my head is always just like, eh. But then when I have a good one,
Yeah.
like we had at Double Clutch, like that was a good
Yes.
smoked beer.
Which I tried to get last weekend, and they did not have it. It was the one they did not have on tap. I was kind of bummed about that because it's a smoked Helles.
Yeah. But yeah, this was pleasantly surprising. I didn't think I was gonna not like it, but I'm surprised at actually how much I do like it.
Yeah, I was looking at some other lagers, like I said. So we did West Coast style IPA, and I got this lager, and I saw it was smoked. Plus, Alarmist. When was the last time we had an Alarmist beer on the show? And I'd like to go back. Oh man, I still got these burps from that last beer just waiting to come out. When I saw this, because I had missed out on the Rausch beer, the Helles Rausch beer from Double Clutch last weekend, because that was the one that sold out. I saw this and I wanted to try it very much so, because as you guys know, I finding out there are lagers that I like. It's the year 2023, a full year of me discovering that I was wrong about lagers, and this is definitely one of them that I like, because it's like a Vienna style lager too. Like, there's a nice sweetness to it. I love the smokiness to it. It's not too much. It is definitely a smoky beer.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the right amount of smoke in there, and it's just really tasty, really really tasty. Like, this is a good cold weather lager. Also, it's only 5% ABV.
Yeah, and it's got everything that I want in like a good lager. Like the body and everything is perfect. And I'm getting a good mix of malt, hop, and smoke. Like all
Yeah,
together.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, there's a nice hoppiness to it. Like, I'm sure there's probably some noble hops in here, a little bit of fruitiness to it. And as I keep drinking it, the smoke is more the aftertaste in my mouth, and now I just have like this nice,
Yep,
like kind of Munich rich
dark
beer.
lager.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, there's the smoke again. Like the aftertaste in my mouth is smoky. So I really like that. I like that is the experience I'm having with this beer. I could drink these a lot, actually.
Yeah, these are really good.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Good job, Gary and the gang.
Yeah, and I don't think it was around this time last year that we had talked to Gary for the first time. Or what the only
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
It will not
Gary
be the last
will have you back.
But yeah, I'm really like, I wish they would have had this then, because that would have been awesome to have on tap. But if we talk to him soon, I would love to try this on tap. See how it tastes.
It is on tap. I'm actually looking at what's on tap right now, and I'm kind of jealous that we're not there right now, because they also have a porter that's on tap, a Vienna style lager on tap. Then they have Jus d'Amour, which is Le Jus with strawberry and chocolate.
Ooh.
Which sounds very interesting, especially for Valentine's Day. And then Dream Le Jus, which has orange zest and vanilla beans, which obviously is like a dreamsicle.
Ooh.
I might have to go there before this week's over and try those.
What was I gonna say? We should find out one day, like, when Gary's actually gonna be there, and just go and do like a guerrilla recording. Just show up and drag him downstairs and be like, "You're talking to us." Even if we just bring the task cam and like,
I was just gonna say, yeah, bring the task cam,
talking,
surprise him.
Yeah.
Let's grab some beers. You're talking with us now, Gary.
Yeah.
Man, I am just so impressed with this beer. And maybe I'm more impressed with it because I was not a big fan of the last beer that we had.
Yeah.
Again, phase 3, no harm, no foul, man. Not every beer is a winner. I love you guys. You guys make some great beers. I grabbed phase 3 beers. Well, I haven't grabbed in a while, but every phase 3 beer I've had has been pretty freaking great. We've had some phase 3 beers on here, especially the collaborations with Goose Island. But I remember during COVID is when I really kind of dug into phase 3 beers, and I just was blown away by everything they had. So I thought I'd give that a try. But this from Alarmist, this is probably one of the first Alarmist. This is the first Alarmist beer I've had this year, and I am happy about it. And I'm going to tell all my friends who like smoked beers about it. And boy, I would drink this again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, me too. What I was going to say, kind of related to the last beer, I was really worried about that one being like a palate wrecker. IPA, and it wasn't. And I'm happy.
You seem like you're trying to get some burps out as well.
I am.
Is that true?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about it. I'm happy that it wasn't a palate wrecker.
Same here. And I my thought was going from, even if it was like a super hoppy West Coast IPA, that a smoked lager would be so opposite that it would still stand out compared to a West Coast IPA.
Yeah. What was
Brandon and I are dealing with some gas inside of our stomachs. These beers are just making us want to burp so much. Sorry, everybody.
So what's your biggest takeaway from this?
Let's see. The smoke is strong, but not overpowering. I really enjoy the sweetness of it, and that is also not overpowering. There is a nice fruity, slightly bitter hoppiness to it, and it is very drinkable. If I had to choose out of 5 staves of wood, this is a 4.45 staves of wood. 4.5 staves of wood. What about you, Brandon?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm right with you. Like 4.4, 4.5. What I was just looking up really quick, I wanted to know what Bamberg, Germany was known for. And it's known for their special beer. Their most famous, the most famous of Bamberg's breweries is the historic smoked beer brewery, Schlinkerla.
I'm sure you're saying
butchered
right.
that completely wrong. I'm sure, but I don't.
To our listeners in Germany, we apologize.
I don't know if like you can get that here, but man, I'm really interested in trying some like a traditional beer from Bamberg.
I mean, one day, Brandon, and hopefully sometime next year, one of these days, you and I are going to take a trip to Germany and just enjoy the hell out of German beers.
I can't wait.
As much as I love,
yeah,
I've never done it. As much as I love American style beers, because obviously, from America, and yeah, bro, we're from America, everybody. I have just fallen in love with just German beers. They're just so approachable, so drinkable, and I've said this before. Breweries like Dovetail and Double Clutch really, for me, in Metropolitan, those 3 breweries have really just kind of stuck it to me. And there's another one in Michigan, Seeds Brewing. That's can't wait to go there again. All those those beers are approachable, and it's awesome to see them being done very well. If they're not done well, I still like them because maybe I just don't know what a good German beer is. Yeah. But they seem to all be doing very well. And it's also a great way for you to go out to a brewery with friends and, maybe friends who don't like IPAs or stouts or any other, random styles like that, to be like, hey, let's go to this brewery. All these beers are approachable for everybody. And then you have fun beers like this.
Yep. I think Dovetail, kind of like you said, Dovetail it's severely underrated. And that's a place, that's my go-to for German style beers here now, I think. But now
still my favorite Vienna style lager.
We got Alarmist coming in with their smoked beer, and this is a tasty beer. I do remember. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I might go and grab an actual 4-pack of this just to keep in the fridge, because it's not a beer that I want to sit back and drink a whole bunch. I want to have this on hand to be like, oh man, I'm glad you're here. Let's
try this beer
together. I mean, I could sit there and drink 2 of these for sure. 2 would be too much, or 2 would be just as I got through the second one, it would be okay, that's enough.
Yeah,
but it's still such a drinkable beer. I'd love to share with people.
Yeah, and you couldn't keep doing this if you were doing an episode. I feel this is the perfect amount. If I did another one, I would be so my palate would be smoked.
If we ever do, which we probably will, if we do a smoked beer episode, that's going to be rough. We need water, crackers, mouthwash, hours in between each beer.
Chicken wings.
It's just enough to, wings, smoked chicken wings. Yes. Brandon, I just saw you take a sip from your cup. Look at how, look at your glass, and then look at how far I am on my glass. I feel like I'm killing this one a little bit more, but this is you said the same about 4.445. Like, I think that speaks volumes to, especially for a smoked beer. Like, this is just very good. Good job, Alarmist. Fantastic beer. I look forward to having some of these in my fridge to share with friends.
Totally.
I think this is probably a good time for us to take a little break.
All right. And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the fuck. I already forgot what I called it. New to me, new to you.
Yeah.
We've gone through 2 beers. Phase 3's Comic Cake, West Coast style IPA, and oh man, I don't have the can in front of me. Bamberger Rausch beer from Alarmist. Both beers, you've already listened to it. I don't need to recap that. Our next beer. I'll read this one. Another local beer. This comes from Marz Community Brewing. Brandon, you actually suggested, and there was 3 types. I was this close to just buying all 3 for us and saying, let's just do this beer for the episode. But I wanted to try something different.
I'm glad you did.
Brandon, this is pronounced Paczki, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm Polish. I should know this. This is the Cream Puff Paczki Stout from Marz Community Brewing Company. It is Imperial Double Milk Stout at 7.5% ABV. It is a double milk stout with custard, vanilla cream, cocoa nibs, and lactose. Now, is there really custard and vanilla cream in this beer?
I don't know.
I don't know either. First impressions.
It is with custard.
Cool. They put all these fats in it. Great. There's great head on it, if that's the case. So swirling it around, when I first poured it, I didn't get a lot from it except for, ooh, nice roasty stout. This sounds, this smells like a good stout. Then swirled it around, and I get like this chocolate, almost like cakey vanilla aroma from it. And like my brain says donut because, I know that's what it's supposed to be. A Paczki is like a donut. But I don't know, man. I haven't taken a sip. What are you getting on the aroma?
Same thing. I'm getting some like nice roastiness, some like pastry-esque aromas, and I'm getting some vanilla, a little vanilla. Come on.
It's also a cola like darkness to it.
100%. Yeah.
So I took a sip. I'm going to have you take a sip. I'm going to tell you what I think about this sip. I'm so glad you found this on the website.
Ooh.
This is a donut beer with like I get all of it. I get all of it without it being super sweet and it being like these fake flavors. This is a well adjunct beer.
I would have to agree with that.
I always I love it when it's you and me, and like we're going through the motions of the episode, and we'll toss it back and forth to each other. You and I are both very guilty of it. But when like if I say something like, "Man, this is so great," and you're like, "Yes, I agree."
Yeah, well, part of me was like, well,
No,
like
I know, you're still processing it, but
it's
I
like,
love
but
that.
there's like,
I love that response.
there's not much more I can add. Like you nailed,
No, I
you
know.
nailed the descriptor on it. And what I do like is it's not super thick.
No, it's got a nice like not thin body to it, but it's easy drinking. It's like a like thin, medium-ish body.
Very, very well balanced. Very well balanced. And
This is, oh, man.
makes me wish I had a punch key to go with it.
That's what the 33 pictures on Untapped. And what I was right before we came back. Oh, there it is, another burp. From that was smoky bacon right there. We came back right before we came back from the break. I had something to say, and what I realized that all three of these beers have to be pretty fucking fresh because I'm going through like Untapped and there aren't a lot of check-ins. Like I feel like Wednesday was a great day to go in and grab these beers, man. Like the Alarmist beer. Hold on, let me pull that up. How many check-ins are there on this as of right now? 11. I'm number 12.
Okay.
Oh, there's a fire truck going down the street right now. Comic Cake's got 168. This Cream Puff Paczki, 33. So these are relatively fresh beers, man. Like this is probably the freshest I've got for beers for an episode. They have three.
What?
They have three. Sorry, they had two other versions. Shit. And I'm trying to find where.
Is there a strawberry?
The other ones. I think so. And I went with this one because I'm a sucker for. I mean, this is like a Boston cream. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I love those types of beers. So that's why I chose this one. So I'm very particular to this. And going back, there's like there was a pistachio cream one that I almost got. Man, what is the other one? There was definitely a fruited one. Cocoa nibs, or maybe it was just. Oh no, the other one was double milk stout with cocoa nibs and lactose. That's the other one. Yeah. Pistachio, custard, and then just a double milk stout with cocoa nibs. They bypassed, I think, the fruit ones. That's what I'm finding on Untapped right now. And honestly, like I don't really care for fruit in my donuts either. I like fruit. Tony's rant. I like fruit as fruit. I want fruit as I'm eating fruit. That's all I want. Fruit in beer, sometimes, absolutely. Fruit in pastries, rarely. Unless it's a pie. There's certain pies I like that have fruit in them. Fruit in chocolate, absolutely not. Fruit candy, sure. Skittles, not so much. Starburst, absolutely. Jolly Ranchers, 100%. But I am regretting maybe not doing the entire episode on these beers just based on this one. This is hitting everything that I was expecting and wanted from this beer.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I want to go back and try those other ones just to see how they compare to this one, because this one is done super well. And then the idea of like, I'd be curious to know, like, did you put custard in there or custard flavoring?
Yeah, like
it's not like oily.
How is the custard in there? No, not at all.
It's not oily. It's super well balanced. And I'm drinking this pretty quick, even though it's like 7.5%.
So am I.
But it's just so good. I'm trying to kind of warm it
it's
up
fantastic,
in my hands
man.
A little bit.
So I had this out the entire time while we were recording. So I figured I took all three out at the same time. I went West Coast IPA first, obviously. Smoke beer I figured would be okay. A little warmer. And this one is like perfect room temperature for me. This beer, god damn. I don't know how long. I think they've been doing this for a little bit because there's some barrel age variants that I can see as well.
Ooh.
On Untapped. Which, I mean, I don't even know if you need to barrel age it. I mean, I'm sure it's fun. Barrel aged with pistachio and vanilla. Ooh, there you go. Barrel aged with raspberry, barrel aged with strawberry. So, and those are 9%. So those are just 2% higher than this actual beer. This beer encompasses like how to do a well done adjunct flavored beer. Like it's hitting everything without it being too sweet or overpowering. I can still taste the beer. It's nice and roasty, but the chocolate, the vanilla, and the creaminess, and even like there's a bit of donut in there, man. There's a bit of cake in there.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, there's this cakiness like kind of at the end that just kind of closes it all out and brings it all together that I'm getting. So
If I find my way back to Beer on the Wall this weekend or before the week's over, which would be 2 days before this episode. If I see the other two there, if I go over there, man, I'll grab them and maybe we'll just either drink them together or do quick after the final pours with these because I got to try them. I got to try the other versions.
Yeah, and these are really appropriate for this time of year. Yesterday, as we are recording this, was Fat Tuesday.
Woo.
Which makes Paczkis a thing, and which is weird because I feel like I didn't really know what Paczkis were or that they were a thing. I think when I started dating Becca, and like she was like, "Oh, it's Fat Tuesday, we got to get Paczkis." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, there's
Are they pronounced punchkis, panchkis,
Paczkis, whatever." But she was like,
living in Chicago, we should know it with our very large Polish population.
Yeah.
We apologize, everybody.
But she was very much like, "Oh, you got to get these," and I had them, and I was like, "Looks like a really good donut." She's like, "It's not a donut."
Yeah.
I'm like, "It's not."
I mean, it is, but it's not.
We are lucky to live in a neighborhood where we can get them regularly. I went yesterday on my lunch break and picked up 6 different ones from Delightful Pastries that they had their Paczkis there, and yeah, I love them. Like,
what kind of punchies did you get?
So we got a chocolate with custard, which kind of almost like this.
It's my favorite combo, man. Like eclairs, Boston, a Boston cream donuts, like chocolate, cake, cream, vanilla. I'm very basic. That's just like if someone brings in like the shittiest Dunkin' Donuts mixed, case to work, and there is a Boston cream, I'm going for that, and I won't touch anything else except for an old fashioned, which I do enjoy as well.
Yeah, I feel like Boston cream is Becca's favorite as well. But that was the only chocolate one we had. It's the only chocolate one they really had. They had a Jameson one that we've gotten in the past. So they have like
what?
Vodka and lemon like infused.
What?
Yeah. And we've had the booze ones in the past, and they're just like not our favorite. I do enjoy the fruited ones. So I got apricot and passion fruit.
Ooh. See those two, apricot and passion fruit. I'd sign up for that. I feel like it's the regular like just like jelly in a donut. I'm not into like grape or raspberry.
We got raspberry,
man. God damn it! But like apricot and passion fruit. Oh man, that's not like I'd probably split a passion fruit one, but the apricot one, man, I might house that one myself.
Yeah, the apricot one I got because when my mom used to always make kolachkis, she would always make apricot was one of the ones she would always make, and that was the one that I always loved.
Oh man, yeah. Kolachkis are the best, and the homemade recipe is awesome. My dad's got one as well.
Yeah, my mom. So when she passed, like sister went through like all of her recipes, and there was 2 kolachki recipes in there, and I still don't know which one she used. The first year,
I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, and the first year I made one, I was like, Becca was like, "You nailed it, knocked it out of the park." And then I made them not this past year, the year before, and they were just weird. So I didn't attempt it this year. I was kind of upset with last year's turnout, but yeah.
Brandon, you're one of the best. You and Becca both are one of the best like friends that I have who are great cooks and bakers, and my other friends, Dan and Becky. Becky is a fan. Like when they come over, Becky and I cook, but she's also a phenomenal baker. I feel very blessed that I have you guys in my life when you guys make stuff, that you share stuff, because we haven't even like had your jerky on a show yet. Like you make the best jerky, other than, I will say this, the Kirkland turkey jerky that I got recently from Costco is pretty fucking good, man. Yeah, I'll have to share some of that with you, but your jerky is phenomenal. So if you ever make kolachkis again, let me know. I'd be happy to to sample them for you.
Yeah, and what I forgot to do, I was actually going to give you some ice cream today, but I ran out of time. Like trying to get something. Yes, because I still have some of that Butterfinger ice cream left. I was going to give you some of that.
Oh, I mean, we got to do we do have to do just a food episode at some point. By the way, I still have random beers for you here that I keep forgetting about. An Old Irving beer and a Backwoods Bastard French toast beer.
And that's when I asked you if you're coming over tonight to do this, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna drop the beers off." I'm like, "Oh, I was gonna also say, reminder, bring those beers you said you had for me." So
yeah, we'll get those to you very soon. They're still here in the fridge, baby. But yeah, like this beer is really, really great, man. This is one that I'm happy that it's the temperature that it's at. It's a little cooler than warm, cooler than room temperature. You're much further than I am. I'm sipping on this one and fully enjoying it.
This is
I'm really sad when it's gone.
The reverse, like the last beer you kind of went through pretty
quick.
Yeah. I still have.
I loved it, and I was like, oh, I love this one. I was slamming. But this is like I'm gonna savor this for the rest of the evening before I go to bed. This is fantastic. So Brandon, here it goes. How many punchkis are you gonna give this beer?
I'm going 4.5.
I like that. I am gonna go with. I'm going 4 because. God, it's just a really well done beer, and I'm a sucker for vanilla, and I'm a sucker for custard, I'm a sucker for chocolate. Like this is like 4.8, 4.85, maybe even 4.9. I'm gonna go 4.8 with this. So when I check it in, it's probably gonna be a 4.75. This is really close to being like a perfectly adjuncted stout for me because, like I said, it's not super sweet. I taste everything in it. It's not even barrel aged. It's not thick. The body is thin to medium, maybe leaning more towards the medium body side. There's still the roastiness to it. And what is it, like 7% alcohol?
7.5, I think.
No, 7. It's 7.
Okay.
Well,
yes,
7%. So like I could.
On the can it says 7.5.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the other versions. It is 7.5%. So I could thoroughly like drink one cold, like enjoy it like that, because I'm sure I'd get like just a nice like milk stout out of it, and then let another one sit out and warm up so that I can sip on it. Like, but that would be it. That would be it for the night. Like 2 beers like this, because like I said, it's not sweet, it's not over the top. It is quite possibly one of the best adjuncted beers I've ever had. Right up there with Goose Island Phase 3, where it tasted like chocolate strawberry fucking was it ice cream cake or something. I forget what it was, where I was like, oh my god,
is that I'm a bird, you're a bird?
Yeah, I forget which one it is. It's the Goose Island one, I think.
Yeah,
that was like one of the best beers. This, I will say right now on this episode, I don't think we've done it yet. We're here in February. Congratulations, Marz. You have officially made it as a contender for my Maltese of 2023 with the Cream Puff Punchki Stout. This is blowing my mind, man. The aftertaste in my mouth is like creamy vanilla. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like I had a donut. It's so good.
Yeah, I can't say
people are going to make fun. Like Clark and Dan might make fun of me for how much I'm like gushing over this beer.
Yeah, and again, there's nothing I can say bad about this. Everything is just super well done. And it just makes me believe that if they did this one this well, that the other ones have to be just equally as good.
I can't wait to try the pistachio one. I want to know how well the pistachio comes through. I still have a milk pistachio from Dry Hop and Hop Pusher in my fridge from this past December, so I haven't even cracked that open yet. We'll have to crack that open sometime. I'm waiting for the right moment. I'm not going to drink that on my own. I love it. I could drink it on my own, but I love sharing that beer.
What's the EBV?
Well, Brandon, that's a good question. I think it's low. I feel like it's 7.
Okay.
Because it's not like a big, like rich stout, but the pistachio is fantastic, and it's such a good stout. The first time Clark and I had it, we had the donuts with it at Dry Hop. It was
nice.
So much fun.
Nice.
That was our, which we've talked about before, our first plop day, and then we went to Beguile, and then we got tickets for prop day. Anyway, overall, if I'm going to rate these for this episode out of beers, I feel like it's unfair that this beer from Marz, the Paczki Stout, is up against the Alarmist Bamberger Rush style lager, because that beer could easily just be like they're tied. They're tied for me.
Yeah.
They're tied for me. So good, even though like I didn't give the same rating, but those beers are fantastic. But if I'm giving the rating, it's in backwards. It's in reverse order. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go Marz, Alarmist, then Phase 3.
Marz. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Same boat. I'm like, what did you say? But yes.
What did he just say? Yeah, I feel like it's just the we did a good order. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if that IPA would have been in any other order, it would have been worse. I feel like.
Yeah, actually, if that IPA was true to what we consider a West Coast IPA, I think we would have just had across the board like a tie.
Yeah. Yeah, but the beer that it was, being what it was when we had it, was perfect. If we would have done it,
yeah, absolutely.
Like if we would have done the smoked beer first, and then went to that, like I feel like I would have gotten nothing. Like it would have been just.
We would have been like, that's a 1.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, the next time we do this, I'm gonna leave it up to you, man. You grab 3. I like this. I think we should consider doing this more often, of just grabbing some random beers and grabbing some stuff maybe that we don't think we've ever had, and we'll just drink them, man.
Yeah.
And that's what the show's about, drinking random beers. This is so much fun. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We hope we gave you some insight and some new beers from us. And if you're in the Chicagoland area or any places that these breweries distribute, go ahead and find all of these. They're fantastic. I mean, again, the Phase 3 one, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are going to really like that beer. It's not a bad beer. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. What was the overall check-in on that one?
100 and...
No. I meant like,
oh, sorry.
Did it show the average already?
3.82 so far.
Okay. So there's people that like it.
Let me I'm refreshing the page right now. There's now 174 check-ins, and it's 3.82. So it's not bad.
No.
I'm seeing some 4s, some 3 1/4s, another 3 1/4, a 4. I mean, it's, again, I'll plan on revisiting this beer maybe next year or sometime in the near future and give it another try. I'm not writing it off at all. It's just, for me tonight wasn't my jam. This cream puff Paczki Stout was.
Yeah, more of that. I will take more of that anytime.
Absolutely. Brandon, got anything else you want to say?
No, man. I just thank you for picking up the beers, and again, thanks for folks for listening while we ramble on about random beers and random other things. Truly appreciate that.
Absolutely. And we've got some, like we said, Howard Street Beer collaboration coming up soon. We'll let you guys know about that. And we've got some other breweries coming on the show soon and some other stuff in store. The new year is always tough for everybody to get together. Clark's busy. By the way, technically, as we're recording this, it's Clark's birthday. So happy birthday, Clark. And, we'll just keep doing what we're doing, guys. Thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it. We love all you guys. Keep sharing, liking, rating. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Just subscribe. You keep listening. Just subscribe already. Damn it. Jeez. Brandon, I love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all 3. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at the Malting Hour.